Did Killer Frost really kill her own team? Hi! Okay, so in the second to last episode of the Justice League Unlimited, Killer Frost proves her loyalty by freezing over a bunch of her cohorts, including two that were never that we never saw fighting, which...
Can any of you give me one good reason to let you live?
I'm not dead!
Killer Frost? You've got a future. Get rid of the rest.
You got it.
And okay, it's Copperhead and Shade, both of whom would have more than likely been on Luthor's side because Luthor pays good money. And all the girls were on his side. To answer this question, we need to answer three others first. How does Killer Frost's ice kill you? Who was in the ice and what their powers give them an edge? And last, would they have escaped everything else? First question. Killer Frost has the power to create ice out of thin air, either impaling her victims or coating them in a thick sheet of ice. Her ice has been shown to encase but not completely freeze her victims instantaneously. Not only that, but people are capable of breaking free and have everything intact. Green Arrow's arm, for example.
Black Canary said a buzzsaw arrow was self-indulgent.
Plus, the strongest feat we see her do is stop an avalanche, which she, after which she passed out.
You've done well.
Kiss my frosty butt.
The audience is tricked into believing they're instantly frozen. To freeze something instantly, the ice has to be hundreds of degrees below zero, liquid nitrogen levels of cold, which she does not have. If anything, her ice is closer to a glacier, which is in the -15 to -20 Fahrenheit range. So the question is, what would kill you first, the cold or lack of oxygen? Since it takes 10 minutes for hypothermia to set in, we'll go with lack of oxygen. Most people can go for 5 minutes without air in normal temperatures, but when the temperature becomes extremely cold, the body uses oxygen faster to keep warm. But as they can't shiver inside of a block of ice, most of the oxygen would be used up from internal panicking. Copperhead would have started to slip into brumation, making him use less as it put him in a light sleep, because he's Snake. As the ice is covering only the external, everything internal would be somewhat intact for about 10 minutes. Everyone would have died of suffocation. Second question. Who was in the ice? Copperhead, Shade, Hellgrimite, Parasite, Goldface, Weather Wizard, Blockbuster, Fastball, Rampage, and Key. What are their powers? Copperhead is a snake man with the strength to break rocks with his tail and slip out of tight spaces, as he is an escape artist with minor invincibility. This is seen throughout any comic that he appears in. He gets run over by a car going 60-something miles an hour and he survives.
And like Hot Girl hits him with a mace like 90% of the time, and it's like,
In the show, and he still gets up like it was nothing.
he walks away from concussion like it's nothing.
Shade can control shadows, is technically immortal, can travel through time, and move through a shadow dimension called the Shadowlands. He prefers to use his cane, but he can go around without it. He can use his powers without it. He doesn't really need it. The guy can walk away from having his heart physically ripped out, so this is nothing. Hellgrimite is super strong and durable, can shapeshift, create cocoons, secrete adhesives, and turn people into other versions of himself if he wants to. Parasite can absorb people's life force, memories, and powers for up to 24 hours. It's pretty useless if he can't touch anyone, but he's just a punchy Ganta because of the fight. So he's super strong, can grow to 50 feet tall right now. Goldface is indestructible and super strong, as long as he wears the gold elixir. Weather Wizard can control the weather with his wand, if he can move his limbs. Blockbuster is super strong, has increased stamina, and is mostly invulnerable, but his IQ is somewhat lacking when he's powered up. Fastball can throw explosives really, really well and has slightly enhanced strength. Not enough to move his limbs in this case. Rampage can feed on solar radiation, grow larger, and has super strength. Finally, Key. Key has heightened senses, increased IQ, telepathy, and is a chemical and mechanical expert. Genius. He also packs a big gun that opens any door. So if you think about it, most of them could break out of the ice anytime they wanted to, but they've only got 4 minutes to do it. Whether or not, the plan could work even if about to be thrown out an airlock. Lastly, could they escape? Would they have survived the ship explosion? Yes, and it's all thanks to Shade and his fancy weapon stick. As Shade has the ability to teleport himself and others through shadow portals, it's not far-fetched that he would do that anytime he wanted. As he is not a big fan of getting a face full of ice, he wouldn't hesitate to leave once free. Copperhead, being the escape artist he is, would automatically start coming up with an escape plan.
Not only that, but Copperhead also has a tendency to befriend people, so he may actually know what their powers are well enough to be able to create a plan based on that.
Key would hear this and relate to the others, taking over when Copperhead's brain stops making sense. As the strong ones are evenly spread throughout the ice, one synchronized flex would shatter the ice from the inside. Shade would then take all of them to the Shadowlands to escape. He could easily find a place warm enough for them to stay until everything blows over. Technically, they're the safest group. In other words, Grodd and 35 of the crew were truly killed off. It's heavily implied that Killer Frost killed her teammates, but because of how they died, they would have easily have come back. Unlike those caught in the explosion or thrown out the nearest airlock. We see super strong heroes break out of Killer Frost's ice all the time. Why wouldn't super strong villains do the same? And that's what we got. Bye!
Bye!